Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7. Today we're going to be talking about Charles, and just to make things clear, I did not summon Charles, so I could not really experiment myself, but obviously I talked to a lot of people. A lot of my guildmates have him, and there's a lot of different opinions on whether or not you should pull, what he's good for, where to use him, how to build him, whether his artifact's good. So I might as well clear out all the questions I can. So first off, we are on Mr. Horny Vikings account. Thank you for letting me be on your account here. The first thing I want to say is the banner itself. Just be clear, I really think Charles is great. I think he's fantastic, but his artifact is just... I'm just not sure about his artifact yet. And I think that really holds me back when I want to summon for something, is the value of their artifact, especially if they are not a limited unit. So for those of you who don't know, can we click on it anywhere here? We can't. We actually have to go to the journal. But for those of you who don't know, the artifact gives a random buff every turn at the end of the turn, I believe. And it just, I don't know, it just seems undervalued, underpowered for now. Maybe it's one of those ones that just is a super sleeper hit later, but as of now, I just can't see myself using it over something like Aureus, over something like Hylag Lance, even over something like Elbis's Ritual Sword. There's so many other options. So with that out of the way, that automatically devalues this banner for me. But let's talk about Charles. One other thing to note is every time there's an artifact that is not so good, there's usually like a really good hero attached to it. So maybe Charles is unexpectedly amazing. So just to be clear about his set 2, he's got attack decrease here, 25% chance to proc smash if the enemy is buffed, which they always are in this game. It's 50% chance, and the second skill has a 80% chance to dispel all buffs, up to 100% chance with all of the Molagor into it. And his third skill, an attack buff and also a damage dealer, and also a defense buff to himself. And it also has extended buff duration for 1 turn, so it can be a 4-turn cooldown with a 3-turn buff for everybody. Pretty great there. So as for his skill sets, there are so many ways to build this guy. I don't know if we even know a right way right now. There's been attack builds, there's been speed builds, there's been tank builds, there's been bruiser builds, there's been crit damage builds, there's been everything. So I personally kind of change his gear depending on what type of gear I have. And Horny Viking did a really good job here, I think, because his gear is just really interesting. So he's got a couple pieces of gear that not many other units are going to use, and this kind of just fits so well with Charles. So he's got 60% health, 21% defense, some crit damage, and some speed on his boots. His crit rate ring is the same basically, but opposite, right? 60% defense, 21 health. This one's 60 health, 21 defense. Amazing pieces of gear, but not so useful. Like, not many people are going to use gear like this. So I think it fits perfectly on Charles. It puts him in a super bruiser situation where he's got tons of defense, tons of HP. He's got decent crit subs there. And then he ends up using the crit damage neck, which rolled really, really, really defensively and also effective, which is great for Charles as well. So this is one way to do it. He's also got the Abyss set, because with this pair of boots, you kind of just have to go with the Abyss set. And this gives him overall decent stats everywhere. He ends up with 16k HP, 1250 defense, low attack, of course, but 228 crit damage and 65% crit chance. So he's got a good amount of damage and a good amount of crit damage. So he doesn't have the attack, but he can scale decently with the crit damage. He's using an Aureus here. I'm not a fan of this, but with this tanky of a Charles, it kind of works. And the other thing is, sometimes you just don't get anything else. He's got an Aureus, and that's it. He doesn't have the Elbis's Ritual Sword, which is what I would put on this Charles. So yeah, this is a great idea, or a great example of what works for this account. And I really like this Charles. It's perfectly disruptive. It's super tanky. It's going to surprise a lot of people, and that's fantastic. Another way people are building them are speed on boots, attack on ring, and crit damage on neck with tanky substats to build them into like a super aggressive damage dealer slash debuffer slash dispeller slash disruptor. You can really just kind of use the best sort of pieces of gear. Another really good example of a piece of gear he can use that is just kind of shaping of the way he can look is this Gladiator's Token. Perfect style of ring for him, just has the health, has the defense, has the attack, has a crit chance, has everything he could. So the way I think you need to look at your Charles is find out where you want to use him and then build him for that. So for example, if you want to build your Charles for PvE, you probably don't care too much about defenses. So I said PvE, right? If you want to build him for PvE is what I meant to say. I'm not sure what I said. I would probably go like a super speedy, super damage dealy build and just try to get as much damage out as you can, because he does do a ridiculous amount of damage with his multipliers. I think his skill 2 is like 1.5 or something, which is way higher than anything we expected. But if you're planning to use him in PvP, I would really like to have amazing defensive stats. You don't need to be this high, because this is honestly pretty ridiculous with how high it is with his ring and his neck here. But you could try to be as tanky as you can while still doing damage. And it also depends on the artifact. I know I'm not really answering questions and you guys just want to hear me say, do this, 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 and this, but it's really important to use what you have on your account. So let's go take him for a spin right now. Also, just to show you another one here, this is another guild members. This is how he has him built. Same sort of way, he's trying to counter set. I think that's one of the better sets on him too, but nobody really has a good counter set. But this is another option if you want to take a look at that. As for sets too, I guess I should be clear on that. Almost any counter set is what I would use on him if I had everything available to me. He even got decent speed. He looks like he has 109 speed, which is really fast. So even a Swift set would be okay if you want to go speedy route, because you can get a speedy disruption in the spell. There's so many ways you can build them. I would just find those pieces of gear on your account that you don't have a place for and be like, darn, this is my Charles gear. So let's do a really quick or slow Banshee 11 run. Just to be clear, this team is not very successful, but I like to show you, just to kind of show you how this works. And how he kind of performs and how he works in a team and how much damage he does specifically with this set of gear that he's using. So you can see his tankiness, his ability to stay alive, and how much damage he does. And you can also see the awesome, amazing Rin in action, and you can see how much damage and how awesome his skill 3 looks. So I think this would be another one that's better with anything but Aureus, basically, especially in the tank slot. I feel like if he had basically any other artifact, he would be much better. Oh, just a beautiful skill 3. If you want to know if you should summon for Charles, like right there, that's the reason. That's why I'm summoning for him. So we can see not the greatest of damage, but a good amount, you know, like enough to do some damage, enough to stay alive. And you got to remember, he's sitting there with 15,000 HP, 1,300-ish defense, and he can hold an Aureus. So that's fantastic. Not every time you need a defense break, which is one of the things Kluri brings. So if you want an offensive version of that, there's always this. Because a lot of people are using Bellona now, and she's already got the defense break covered. Like, she's got it covered. Watch, just defense break her there. There you go. And now you have an offensive unit here. Doesn't proc his thing to show some damage. You also have defense break there. Come on, show us the big deeps, Charles. So this is such a scary battle. We are so dead. I hope we survive here. Like I said, this run is not one that has a success very often, but it's just such a good place to show you where Charles kind of performs okay. And I do like him here because he does have just a good amount of damage. And that's kind of all that matters sometimes. I will always entertain you. Okay, we've got lots kicking butt here. And I know this is not really, like, let's be real here. This is not showcasing Charles. This is showcasing, like, Bellona and Rin and everybody all at once. Not just Charles, but I didn't know, like, a better place to put him for you guys. And just to show you that he can kind of survive here. And he can do damage, and he can disrupt, and he can debuff. Is super worth it. He also is not proccing his first ability. He doesn't want to perform under pressure right now. And now the danger right now. We are about to get Banshee cursed. And then we're about to die. Cheering you on too, Rin. So good. I love Rin. This is just an excuse to use Rin. I'm definitely gonna build her soon. Once I get Celestine, I've got to do it. I can't go much longer without Rin. So again, really slow run, but doing some damage, getting everybody attack buff. For King Aether. No defense break either. How dare you? 2100. Oh no. That wasn't enough damage. That wasn't enough damage.
I don't know the meaning of failure.
Oh, so cool. This is so much harder than Wyvern 11, by the way. Wyvern 11 is just like a gift to us compared to this. He didn't crit. He's got a 76% chance to crit, so like 90% against these units, so that's kind of RIP.
I'm cheering you all on. I present to you
The greatest magic. Bellona's nuts. I think that's what this shows here. Bellona is nuts. Yeah, Bellona. Bellona is unfair. I honestly think Bellona's the best unit we've ever got. I don't think there's anybody as good as Bellona, to be honest.
time for the big finale. All right.
The really cool part here is the Rin and Charles interaction definitely boosts his damage. Yeah, he finally goes in second time. No defense break, but 2k damage. I mean, that's not a lot, but again, you've got to remember he's holding an Aureus, and he's doing the best he can, and he's not built for this either. If I was going to build him for this, I'd build him more DPS. He's definitely built for like PvE in mind, or PvP in mind. I really hope you dispel. Oh no, this is gonna hurt. Oh no, we're about to blow up. Oh no, we're so blown up. Okay, so that was a pretty good attempt, at least to show you what he looks like in combat. So we are about to blow up here. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe we could just... Should we doggo and cheat? Can I cheat on YouTube? Everybody close your eyes for a second. I don't even know if cheating's gonna help. We're about to get... Yeah, cheating's not gonna help. I can't cheat. Take that out. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Charles. I don't know what else to say. I wish I had him to experiment a little more for you guys. Maybe they do it. And you two do it. You just need to proc some greatness here. Okay, now they're dead, right? I just want to let them die. Oh, there we go. They're dead. There's no way. There's no way they survive. Anyways, that's my thoughts on him. I do think he's really, really, really solid, and I do think he's amazing and just like great everywhere. But I'm just still worried about pulling him. So if you're trying to decide on if you want to pull or not, hopefully you can take out of this that he's just useful everywhere. But maybe not a necessity, kind of like some of the other ones where you never know, he might turn out to be super bonkers later, but at least we have another week to decide. So if you're on the fence of summoning Charles or not, just give it a little bit, wait a little bit, and kind of see what the next unit is, because you never know what's coming next. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you have any comments or questions or concerns in the description below, and I'd love to see you on stream tomorrow when we do our Sunday summons and do a bunch of Charles summons. So have a great day. Bye, everybody!